If you're still in the pennant race in your fantasy baseball league, you're still active on the waiver wire, or at least you should be. This week, I'm going to look at some prospects that have been called up. So we're going to combine the waiver wire report with the rookie report and only look at these rookies that have gotten that September call up that you should be targeting. And this is going to be, no surprise, a very heavy New York themed waiver wire because the Bronx Bombers, you might have heard, have become the Baby Bombers. Half of these hitters I'm going to talk about, actually more than half, are Yankees, and then there's a Met who I've been talking about for weeks, and he's finally up. So I think we have to kick it off with the Martian, Jasson Dominguez, who has been a big name prospect since he was, I think, 15 years old. He actually got the call because the Yankees are probably not headed for the postseason, and they are, believe it or not, in full rebuild mode. So this guy's 20 years old. I mean, he looks like the next coming of Giancarlo Stanton, but at this age, I kind of threw this out there on Twitter or X or whatever it is. He's got all the talent in the world, but let's see if he's actually ready for major league pitching. So what did he do? His first major league at bat and his first swing ever, he crushes a home run off of Justin Verlander, no less. Follow that up next day with a hit and a run scored. This guy's a mainstay in the lineup already. He's going to get a chance to prove what he can do at the show. Now, I will say I am still concerned about the batting average. I mean, power is the calling card here. This is somebody who is not necessarily going to be hitting 300. So if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of batting average for some power upside and some runs, RBI production, what it looks like might happen if he's going to be in the heart of the order, then take a chance on the Martian. Now, before I go back to the Yankees, I have to go to my guy I've been discussing for weeks now. When I said about the next big prospect, I tabbed Ronnie Mauricio of the Mets as that guy who I was the most excited about. Ronnie Mauricio has been hitting the ball hard throughout the minor league season. Now he gets a chance finally with the big club. Honestly, the Mets should have done this a while ago because they haven't been in the race for a while, and obviously they sold at the trade deadline. So Mauricio finally getting his chance. 2 hits in his debut, and then next day got another hit and stole a base. Sunday, another hit and another steal. So that's 2 steals already in 3 games, and he's got a hit in every game so far. He started out initially 9th in the order, has already moved up to 7th. I mean, who knows at this point if he keeps sliding up, maybe the top of the order if he keeps hitting the way that he has been. I really feel like he could legitimately be the next superstar in this league. Now, it doesn't mean it'll happen in September of this year, but definitely you have a spot open anywhere in any roster, I say grab him at the very least so the competition doesn't. All right, now the other New York team, let's talk about another middle infielder. I was high on preseason. He did get a shot. Didn't do a lot with it, got sent down, but now Oswald Peraza is back and looks like he will be holding down an everyday job. The Yankees let go of Josh Donaldson, so Peraza getting a shot at third. He also qualifies as second and short. He's got speed. He's got some bat skills. Not a ton of power, but that's okay for what you're looking at here. He's coming off a 3-hit game this past Saturday. The average has been uneven. It's going to happen with these rookies, but again, this young core is growing together and continues to get that experience and less pressure now than having to join a team of former All-Stars. Now that these young players are all together, it might help them out. If you're still looking for outfield help and maybe you didn't get Dominguez, there's also Everson Pereira. He's playing left field currently and hitting 7th for the Yankees. He's been doing a little bit with the bat. He does have some power. This guy is more well-rounded bat. He does have some strikeout issues, and that's the thing. Even in the minors, though, he was hitting well and, going deep quite a bit, but that's one thing that has reared its head so far in his time, with the Yanks. So a little less sold on him being a fancy asset for the rest of this year, but there's definitely some upside here, and you never know how a rookie will take to his first taste of the majors. No, we're not done yet with the Yankees. If you're looking for a catcher, now this guy I mentioned just on my rookie report a couple of weeks ago, and waiver wire potential is Austin Wells. If you're a longtime Yankees fan, then you might get flashbacks of Jason Giambi. And yes, that is quite the magnificent stash. But let's look a little deeper here. This is a catcher with tremendous power, an offense first catcher. So yes, he can help you in fantasy right here, right now. Had a base hit in his debut. There's legit pop here. Now, I don't recommend going out and starting him in a single catcher league. You should not be that desperate at this point of the season. But in a 2-catcher league, or if you're looking for depth, yeah, Wells is a guy who will get a chance the rest of this year to hold down that job because it's going to be his probably for a long time coming. And then one more hitter to talk about, finally, out of the state of New York. So this is a Colorado Rocky, Hunter Goodman. Talk about power. This guy grades out at 70 raw power, and this is someone who is, well, really not made for the catcher position, and I don't think it's going to last very long. We've seen a lot of these guys who come up through college or the minor leagues as catchers, and then they transition because the defense isn't there. That's Goodman. He is going to be a first base or maybe even corner outfielder, DH type, starting now. Because you might know the Rockies, you think, well, don't they have the All-Star MVP in Elias Diaz? Yes, they do. And so Goodman isn't taking over behind the plate, and that's okay. He'll still get his ABs. Obviously, Colorado, a pretty good environment to hit for a power hitter, and this guy has that. We'll see as far as the average goes, but look, he's got a path now because the Rockies did trade CJ Cron at the deadline. This is obviously a team that's going to give its young players a chance. So if you're looking just for a boost in power, you could take a chance on Goodman, especially in a 2-catcher league where you can throw him in that second spot and see if he produces. Now it's time for the pitchers. And you know how it goes with rookie pitchers. And this first guy is just kind of the epitome of what you deal with rookie pitcher, a starting pitcher especially. It doesn't matter how good he looks or how highly touted he is, it's going to be a bumpy ride. So Kyle Harrison, coming off his second start, just looked like every bit of the future ace that people were hoping for. 11 strikeouts in that second start. He totally dominated. And then the third start happened. His follow-up to that, after I'm sure a lot of people did scoop him up and stream him and start him, was that he gave up 4 home runs, 6 earned runs total in less than 6 innings. This is just how it is. The talent didn't disappear overnight, and he will still strike out batters in bunches. It just depends on how the command is, right? It's going to come and go. Even though he has the stuff, you're going to have to just hold on and brace for it. So you put him in your lineup. You don't even know when it's going to happen. It doesn't necessarily matter. Home, road, opponent, offense. These guys can get lit up at any single time, and they also can be dominant at any time. But that said, Harrison is one of the better pitching prospects out there. He's in a great environment there for San Francisco, home starts especially. So I would just say worth an ad, start at your own risk, though. And another guy I talked about way in the beginning of the year, and I feel a little bit better about, is Brandon Pfaadt, Arizona. His season-long numbers look bad, right? And that's because his first couple of starts, he just got rocked. Got sent down, brought back up, and since then, he's been steadying the ship. Still a couple of bumps, but look, just since the All-Star break, I can say much better. That's a 4.17 ERA and a 1.17 whip. Not amazing, but he's also upped the strikeout rate. It was only 20.6%, but now at least he's striking out a batter per inning. More importantly, his walk rate is down. He's figuring it out. This guy's got filthy stuff. There will still be some, bad starts here and there mixed in, but I do feel a little better about him having that consistency where I could keep him in a rotation if I need pitching help. Now, some names you might not be aware of. Here's a guy you probably weren't even sure was a rookie, and that's Andre Jackson, who is now a Pirate. The Pirates always have these young pitchers that come up and look great, and then they falter. This is a team that looked really good early this season and then has reverted to being the Pirates. But look, Andre Jackson is a different story here. He came up through the Dodgers system, and he was used as a middle reliever there the last couple years just for a few innings here and there. So even though he did debut 2 years ago, he's still a rookie because of the innings. Got shipped off to Pittsburgh for nothing, essentially. They just gave him over, and he's in the rotation, and he's doing really well. So again, you look at the stats, season-long misleading. Looks like he's not that good, 4.46 ERA. But just since he's been with Pittsburgh, he's got a 2.92 ERA and a 0.97 whip. Also striking out more than a batter per inning. Even though you can't expect a whole lot of wins there being in Pittsburgh, he does have a little bit of an easier schedule, a little bit of less pressure there being in Pittsburgh in that Central Division as opposed to with the Dodgers and some of those teams in the West. Look, Andre Jackson has some good stuff. He's got a strong fastball. He's been doing well. I mean, I would take a chance here for sure. And then one repeat from last week. No, I'm not going to talk about Cole Reagans again for the 5th time. I told you weeks ago to pick him up. I think the secret's out now that he's dominant. But let's talk about Jordan Wicks in Chicago. His first start was great, struck out 9 batters. So what would he do for an encore? Not too bad. Now, the strikeouts were definitely down. He only whipped 3 batters that time, but he did go 5 innings and only gave up 1 run. So far, so good. It looks like he's sticking there. So at this point, if he's out on waivers in any of your leagues, I think he looks like a pretty solid pickup. Although baseball season is winding down and maybe your fantasy season is about to come to an end, the good news is football is starting up. If you play fantasy football, or maybe you're just interested in trying it, you should definitely check out Fantasy Football Endgame. That is our original flagship channel. Go ahead and check out now all of our videos, including Start Sit for week 1.